Hello friends and fellow collectors, Flip Young here, checking in to provide you guys a more detailed insight about this Marvel Legends Agent Venom figure. Now, this figure has been released a long time ago, if my memory serves me correctly. It may have been over a year. I may be wrong, but then again, the reason why I am still reviewing this figure for you today is because he was a Walgreens exclusive at the time, and I would just like to give the guys who may have missed out on this figure. I would like to give you some insights there. Since he may still be sold online right now at a jacked up price. So just to give you the idea if the price point may be reasonable for you today or not, let's go ahead and review this figure. So this is once again a Marvel Legends Agent Venom. He is known as Flash Thompson. With I think the real name is Eugene Thompson, and Flash is like his nickname. He used to be like the high school bully of Peter Parker. He was like a super athlete at his school at that time, of course, and along the way he started idolizing Spider-Man without knowing that that is the same kid that he bullies at school. So let's look at the box, a 360-degree look at the box. At the side you would see some artwork here of Spider-Man, with his web swinging action, and at the back you would see the actual figure, and some other collections here that came with the same wave. On the other side is once again another picture of Spider-Man, which is like the exact mirrored replica of the one on the other side. So let's open the box and let's take a look at the figure. And by the way guys, I already opened the figure, and please pay no attention to this folded paper here on the knee section. I only placed this here to prevent warpage, and along the process may give the leg of my figure an awkward outwards bend. So this thing did not come with a package here. So before I open, my apologies there, let's take a look at the accessories. He came with the MP5 type of gun here, like a mini submachine gun. He came with a Beretta with accessories such as this laser pointer here, and on the tip I believe it has some sort of a silencer, or if not, at least an extender of the tip of the gun. He also came with these two standard Glock 9 guns. All of the guns are either painted in silver, all silver, or all black. I wish they made the guns two-tone to provide more details. Sculpting wise, it's pretty decent, especially for a $20 price point figure. So you cannot really demand such detail for that amount of money. So let's get him out of the box, and I did forget to put back in the box here to give you guys a better look at what he came with originally. He also came with this extra symbiote limbs. So it's detachable. It has a peg hole on his back, and this thing has a peg, of course, the male portion. Place it on the female portion of the peg, and he would look like this, and you could twist this to any angle that you prefer. And of course I just want to point out that each of this hand looking things could grab any of his weapons and wield the weapon accordingly to give him like a one-man army look, or posing. So let's take this away and concentrate more on the figure. So let's take a look at the detailing first. On the head portion, he does have this decent head sculpt, which is standard for a masked figure. He does have this protruding eyes here to provide us like a glass or visor effect, and this white portion, the lining of his eyes, is actually sculpted. I'm not sure if it does show in the camera, but it's sculpted on top or underneath the paint. And he does come with this spiked shoulder armor, and the spike here are not really protruded compared to the Marvel Select, which, you know, in this case I like the Marvel Select as far as the shoulder pads is concerned. And you know, these, you know, armor pieces here that supposedly should have spikes on them, such as the knee guards, the shin guards, and the forearm guards. He comes with this separate, you know, a totally separate piece of armor here on his torso region, and the belt here is also a separate piece. It does have multiple pouches here for his ammunitions and things that he needs for battle. He does have this knife, which is not removable, and he also has this holster with a gun on the side of his leg or his thigh, which once again sadly is not removable. I would have preferred for them to take off this gun and make this thing hollow. That way you could at least, you know, holster some of the guns here that he came with, you know, at least the handguns, just to provide us that option. But nothing, you know, nothing serious there. I mean, once again, for its price, this is a very decent figure. I like the character of Agent Venom a lot in the comics. And of course, let's see here, what else am I supposed to say? Yes, let's jump into articulation. So he said move up that much, and he could also look down this much. No problems here in the side to side movement, since this armor piece right here, even the collar portion of the armor is of course a soft rubbery material and does not really hinder too much with the articulation. And I like the way they place, you know, a decent height here for the collar, this, you know, gunslinger type of collar here. That way he could still, you know, freely move his head around, since him being a symbiote who is, you know, almost like a Spider-Man type of action hero with guns. I mean, he is very agile as well, and being a gunslinger also. So that's it for the head. On the shoulders, he could move up this much. So the shoulder piece does not hinder any shoulder movement at all. It's a very soft rubber material attached to the trapezius portion of his shoulders here, and it's like a hanging piece, so which is neat. I just hope that through time, I just hope the rubbery thing here that attaches the shoulder, I mean the shoulder pads to the shoulder, I just hope it doesn't crack or break through time. And of course you could move the arms forward, backward, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and he has this forearm swivel as well. And on his hands, he doesn't have any articulation. It does come with this, you know, exaggerated hand pose here to wield his gun. And I just want to point out, I just want to show you guys that when you try to make him wield the gun, it doesn't really look natural. It gives you like an awkward angle here. Let me grab one of the guns. Due to the positioning of his fingers. So let's see, let's try to place this thing here, and when you try to make him wield the gun, he doesn't really hold it well. So this one, you couldn't even put the trigger finger here inside the trigger. So that's a bad example there. Let me get another gun here. So let me give you the Beretta, or I'm not sure if this is even a Beretta. It may be a Desert Eagle, I'm not sure, but when you try to make him wield this gun, it comes in this way, you know, which is a downward angle. He doesn't look natural when holding the gun unless you actually, you know, position him this way. But I would like him to stretch out his hand and point the gun straight. And from an upward angle, you would see that, you know, the gun is slightly pointed outwards. So, well, they could have done better, but really, I mean, that's not too much of a concern here. The figure looks great by itself. He does have a torso articulation, but of course, being hindered by this torso armor here, or chest piece, but he could move forward this much and back that much, with provided that it is being hindered. So the on the hip section here, he does have a wide joint, so sad to say he could kick out that much or even more. And of course, the way you put, for a wide joint, as we all know, you need to play along with the ball joint here on the hip in order for us to position the legs according to our preference. So if I want him to kick outwards, I have to like spin this thing and twist his thigh outwards and then twist it back, just to make him pose with his legs forward. You could also move the legs backward this much, slightly hindered by this pouch here. And pretty much that's it for articulation. Well, hip articulation at least. And he does have this upper thigh swivel and double jointed knee with a very decent range there. He doesn't have this shin swivel, but he has ankle articulation. He could only point up this much, which is not that good of a range, but he could have his toes point down that much, which is a great range for downward movement. He does come with this side-to-side tilting of the ankle, which is neat. And that's it for the articulation of the figure. So what do you guys think? Is he worth, the amount they are selling him online? I believe he averages somewhere between $35 to $40, unless they made the recent changes with, the standard pricing of this guy. But as far as I could remember, the last time I checked, they're selling him for about, that range of price. Size comparison here. Allow me to apologize ahead of time. I don't have too many figures within my grasp right now, since I did store them to boxes, since I do need to have more room on my room and make it usable for a human being to live at. So I started placing them on boxes. I'm struggling to find a place to really display my figures without messing up with the functionality of the house. So apologies there. I only have this Nova figure for you handy. I did place them standing against the wall, that way we could have a more accurate estimate of the size difference here. So as you could see, Agent Venom is slightly taller. And the reason behind is, for me, this is accurate because he was like a high school bully. So high school bullies normally tend to be bigger, especially when you're an athlete, tend to be bigger than the regular sized, kids there in your school. So although they're not kids, they grew up. I mean, he should still have that, size advantage compared to regular 6-inch scaled or 6-inch figure. So this is Nova. This is one of the earlier releases of Hasbro, when they started stepping their game up. So this is actually on that, what you call the Guardians of the Galaxy wave. It came with the right hand of Groot, and I haven't completed Groot yet. For some reason they just jacked up the price of Rocket Raccoon. So for me, it wasn't a reasonable price for that figure, although it would complete your Build-A-Figure Groot. It would have been nice. So if you haven't collected any of those wave yet, I would suggest buying the whole wave from websites such as Big Bad Toy Store. At least you get a more fair price for the rest of the figure. Now I did not buy that since I pretty much almost completed this figure, except for this wave, except for Rocket Raccoon. So I either have to pay $40 to $50 for a Rocket Raccoon, or I have to pay like about $160 for the entire wave. So for me, it's not reasonable. Hoping one of these days I would come across that figure at a cheaper price. So 360 degrees of this guy, and pretty much that's it. I hope I give you helpful insight about the deciding factor of purchasing this figure online. Hope you enjoyed the videos, of course, and see you soon, guys. Flip Young here, checking out.